I would like to start Indian dance forms, which is very, very important for UPSC exam, prelims as well as mains point of view. It is not only important for UPSC, and it is also important for all competitive exams. And Indian dance forms like a classical dances and folk dances, these two dance forms is very, very important. It not only helps to crack the UPSC exam prelims and mains, it also helps to know about India and to feel proud of India. So now here Indian dance forms, then I would like to divide like a classical dances and folk dances. Here classical dances, you know very well, and Indian dances, a various style of dances, is a other aspects of Indian culture. A different form of dances originate in different parts of India. It developed according to local traditions and also geographical conditions, based on geographical conditions. These dance forms emerged from Indian traditions, epics and history and mythology. Almost all dance forms, classical and folk dances, depending on the tradition and history and religions and historical and mythology, and mostly epics like a Ramayana and Mahabharata. And at the same time here, the classical dances mostly created based on Puranas. You know very well, there are 8 Puranas, like here Matsya Purana, Nrisimha Purana, Markandeya Purana, right? A different Puranas. So based on Puranas, you can see number of classical dances in India, and based on traditions and festivals. And you know, India is where you can see the culture. India, it's not only about religions and a group religions, it's a way of culture, it's a way of living. So every tradition and every culture or every movement of Indians is depending on their culture, the way of life. And epics, we showing here the way of life, and it's one kind of, you know, that is a battle between the hero and villain, like Ramayana, where you can see Rama and one side and Ravanasura one side, and Mahabharata, where you can see Pandavas and one side and Kauravas, and the total role played by the Sri Krishna, directed by the Sri Krishna. And if you observe all these one, and epics which showing a drama or what kind of actions happen in society, like Rama and Ravan, where hero and Ravan, then here they show a different ways. So if you want to spread the message, to future generation, you need to follow, you need to know at least about the epics. If you perform the epics in dance form, then people easily can understand. That is one of the important thing. Classical dancing, it's not only about the entertainment. It's not only about entertainment. It is spreading some truth message. It is spreading some here ethics and morals to the society by performing dance. And people can understand easily. I hope you understand. So that's why here, then you can see Indian classical dances, in music also, where you can see inspire the audience. Music will change the mindsets of the people. I hope you understand. So both the dances and music, it is not only for entertainment. Then by these dance forms, you can spread ethics and morals to the society. So that's why you can see from ancient India onwards, you can see number of dance forms. Dance forms, and at the same time here you can see not only dance form, at the same time you can see different songs, traditional songs. You know, there is a word something like a marga and desi. Two words you can see in Sanskrit language, marga and desi. Desi means completely local level. If they followed a dance like a local level, that is called desi dance. If the dance followed basic like a rules and regulation, that is called marga dance. I hope you can understand. So now here introduction. Here if you observe here Indian classical dances, like folk dances, it's not only about the UPSC exam point of view. You should know about India, you should know about culture, you should know about the Indian traditions. It's not only for entertainment. My dear students, here if you observe here, then Indian classical dances, where you can see it follow rules and regulations. According to Sangeet Natak Academy, there are 8 distinctive traditional dances as Indian classical dances. Indian classical dances. I hope you know these Indian classical dances. Actually, Sangeet Natak Academy is a one body who recognize the culture and arts and all this one. Bharatanatyam one, first classical dance. Its origin in Tamil Nadu. Second one is Kathak, Uttar Pradesh. Third one is here Kathakali, Kerala. Kuchipudi, Andhra Pradesh. Manipuri, Manipur. Mohiniyattam, then you can see in Kerala. Odissi, Odisha. Satriya, Assam. I hope you can understand. These are the 8 classical dances. 8 classical dances is very, very important. It's the oldest dance forms and ancient dance forms. Classical dances. The 8 classical dances recognized by Sangeet Natak Academy. So, I would like to explain each and every dance, which is very, very important for all competitive exams. So, if you observe here, you can see here 8 classical dances in 8 classical dance forms, where you can observe here different dance postures. Here you can see here Mohiniyattam, where you can see white dress and Jasmine shivered, and here Kathakali, a full makeup. It is very difficult to dance. Actually, Kathakali is the hardest one and difficult one. Then it needs lot of practice. Kathakali dance need lot of practice. You can't do suddenly. It needs lot of practice. Same way you can see here Odissi dance form, Tribanga. Odissi dance form followed Tribanga postures. You know Tribanga postures, which is very difficult posture. Tribanga. Banga means postures. 3 means here Tribanga, 3 postures. Head one side, and hip one side, and leg one side. 3 postures. Hip means your torso should be bent one side, head should be bent other side, and knee should be bent opposite side. 3 Banga postures. This 3 Banga posture you can see generally in sculptures. Generally you can see in sculptures on temple walls, like Chidambaram temple, Tanjavur temple, like Tiruvannamalai temple. Tiruvannamalai also called Arunachalam temple, where you can see number of sculptures which has a Tribanga postures. Sculpture is not, one thing here, sculpture. It is easy to carve the sculpture, because when the good and great artist, he can easily carve the sculpture. Then what about the human being? Human being is a movement object, movement living thing. How can she perform the Tribanga postures? That's why it's very difficult one. That's why Odissi dance form is a mobile sculpture. Odissi dance form also called mobile sculpture. But anyway, I will explain one by one. Okay? Then I will go here. Then here, these classical dances. Already we discussed 8 classical dances. 8 classical dances. One thing here, in other dances in India, like a folk dances. A folk dance is a number of folk dances, a number of styles. and varying according to the local tradition of the respective state, ethnic or geographic regions. Already said, already mentioned, all these folk dances is based on the local traditions and based on the geographic regions. And most of the folk dances followed like a mythology, a local traditions. You know one thing here, but anyway, I will explain later about the folk dances also. It's very interesting topic. It's very, very interesting topic. Then you know here, there are some contemporary dances. There are some contemporary dances including, like here, then classical, you know contemporary dances, it's a mixing of classical and folk and western forms. It's a mixing, like a mixie. And like a classical and folk and western forms. Like your rock. Then here there are some like a music like a pop, George and all these one. It's a mixing one. Western form. In modern times, if you observe the presentation of Indian dance styles in films, like a Bollywood dancing. But anyway, nowadays, they follow a different dance. We can't understand because it's a mix, total mixing. Am I correct? So, then here where you can see here different folk dances. Then you can see here Naga's dance. And you can see here some of the dances like a harvesting season. Some of dances like a festival seasons. They perform, and people who perform in local level. India is a land for traditions, dances. It's a land for a group of religions. It's a land for peace. It's a land for entertainment. It's a land for knowledge. India is a beautiful, right? India is a beautiful country. We should proud of India. So now here, then now you can also be proud. Then I will explain. So here, before going to discuss about classical dance and folk dances and contemporary dances, I would like to explain the history of the dances and mythology of the dances. You know one thing here, the dance is mostly performed based on the music. In India, you know very well, there are two types of music existed. One is Carnatic music and second one is Hindustani music. You know Carnatic music, which followed complete rules and regulations. You cannot improvise. You should follow, particularly in South India. And Hindustani music actually influenced by the Persian style of music. You can see Hindustani music in particularly North and Central India. But anyway, music is different. I will explain later. But anyway, dance is performed based on the music. You know, first thing here, Lord Shiva as a Nataraja is its manifesting principle. Lord Shiva who has performed the dances. Lord Shiva. You know one sculpture you can find in Chidambaram, Nataraja sculpture. Hey, Nataraja is different here. Nataraja, the sculpture is showing, you know, actually Shaivism. Nataraja sculpture showing here totally Shiva is a creator, Shiva is a destroyer, Shiva is a protector. That means here Shaiva followers strongly believed Shiva is the only God. Shiva is the only God who created this universe and who protect the universe and who destroy this. All these total things you can see in Nataraja sculpture. Nataraja sculpture is a famous sculpture you can find in Chidambaram area. That's a different one. Then you know one thing here, Nataraja who hold, Nataraja has four hands. Upper hand he hold the drum. Upper hand he hold the drum. Drum is symbol for Damarukam, that is called Damarukam. What does it mean? Damarukam. Damarukam which produce sound. From that sound universe created. From that sound universe created. He holds the drum in his right hand. And next one here, in the upper left hand he holds eternal fire. Lord Shiva, Nataraja sculpture hold eternal fire. Fire is symbol for destruction. So that means here he can destroy. One side is a creator, one side is a destroyer. And lower right hand, I said here four hands, Nataraja had, and lower right hand lower right hand, you hold these kind Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya Mudra like this. Abhaya Mudra means it's one of the mudra. Don't fear. Abhaya Mudra. Don't fear. Shiva saying here, don't fear. I am here. I will protect you. So that means here Shiva is a creator, Shiva is a destroyer, and Shiva protector. And not only protector, then one hand which is showing like a downside. Downside, this hand showing moksha marga. This hand showing moksha marga. I hope you can understand, students. Shiva also giving moksha. Right? Creator, destroyer, protector, and moksha. You know one thing, student, Shiva Nataraja sculpture actually, that Nataraja sculpture stand on one dwarf and on one dwarf. Dwarf in the sense one kind of demon. You know that demon? What is the symbol of the demon? That is ego, your ego. You should spoil or you should remove your ego from your body. You should remove. You should be, then only you can get the moksha. And you know, and Shiva who wear here one ear, female earring, and left side he wear one female earring. That is the symbol of Ardhanadishvara. That means here Shiva also give importance, equal importance to the woman. Half male body, half female body, Ardhanadishvara. That is the beauty of this sculpture. You know, on this sculpture there is a one circle. One cycle is there, where you can see some lights. One cycle, where you can some light. That is here your life cycle. That is your life cycle. That means here your life cycle continues. Birth and death. Birth and death. Death and birth. Birth and death and death and birth. Right? If you break this life cycle, then you can get salvation. That is called moksha. How can you break this cycle? Birth, death. Then after death again birth. Then after birth again death. Then after death again birth. This is a cycle, life cycle. How can you cut this life cycle? How can you break? If you break this cycle, then you can get moksha. First of all, what is moksha? Moksha in the sense here, your soul should be merged with super soul. That is called Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma is a God. Your Atma, that is your soul, should be merged with, if it is merged with Paramatma, then you can get moksha. That means you are breaking life cycle. If you break this cycle, then you can get the moksha. Shiva also showing this. Then what Nataraja sculpture dance form showing entire thing here. That means here Shiva is a creator, Shiva is a destroyer, Shiva is protector. And Shiva also showing moksha marga. And you know one thing here, Shiva who wore some snakes. Right? Then like here hands you can see snakes, twisted some snakes, and neck also you can see some snakes. What is the symbol of these one? What is the symbol? Then you know here, that means here that is called Kundalini power. Kundalini power. Kundalini power. That means here you should be conscious, your spine should be active. And that means here your spine or your conscious always, what happened? Always in here like a sleeping mode. Then that should be wake up. You should be conscious. If you are conscious, then you can get the enlightenment. Then you can see proper way. Students, listen. Lord Shiva and Nataraja sculpture, where you can see a different. It's showing entire thing. One dance form. That is the beauty of the dance. That is the beauty of the dance. Right here. Then next one, Shiva manifests Tandava dance. Very, very important. Tandava dance. Tandava. Generally you can see Shiva Tandava. Shiva Tandava. Tandava means Raudram. And showing dance like a Raudram. In Raudram. That is masculine form. Masculine form in the sense here, male form. Tandava dance. Showing Raudram, anger. Shiva Tandava. Then you know Parvati. I hope you know our ancient, what we call forefathers, who are saying here, Shiva Parvati is a beautiful couple, a good couple and great couples. They can also dance when they are in love and at the same time when they are in anger. And when Shiva in anger, he performed Tandava dance. When Parvati Shiva in love, when Parvati and Shiva loves, so Parvati, then here Parvati manifests Lasya, a feminine form. Parvati manifests here Lasya dance. One is Tandava dance, second one is Lasya dance. There are two principles, my dear friends, Tandava and Lasya. Tandava is a masculine form. Tandava means Raudram or anger dance. Then Parvati manifests Lasya. Lasya is a love and peace dance. It's a feminine form, peace and beautiful peace and love. It's a feminine form. So Tandava dance and Lasya dance. You can perform these two themes in any dance form. Okay, right? Then here Natya Shastra and Abhinaya Darpana. There are two books. Natya Shastra and Abhinaya Darpana tells us Lord Brahma created dance upon request of the gods, and it became known as the fifth Veda. Fifth Veda. You know, since here Natya Shastra written by Bharata Muni. Natya Shastra book written by Bharata Muni. Abhinaya Darpana. Abhinaya Darpana is one more book. So right, then these Abhinaya Darpana and Natya Shastra, these two books tells us the Lord Brahma created this dance. Okay, right. So then it is called fifth Veda. Fifth Veda. So I think there are four Vedas. Am I correct? There are four Vedas. One is Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda. Fourth one is Atharva Veda. Right, what about fifth Veda? I think you didn't hear about the fifth Veda. Then fifth Veda here, Natya Veda. Natya Veda created by Brahma. Natya Veda created by Lord Brahma upon request of and the request of gods. So there is a doubt. How Brahma created this Veda? How Brahma created Natya Veda? Right? Brahma created Natya Veda. Then like here, and yogic trance. First he studied about the yogic trance, that means yoga. He studied about the yogic trance and four Vedas. He was taken some concepts from the four Vedas and created fifth Veda. First one here, he drew literature from the Rig Veda. He was taken literature from the Rig Veda. Expressions and Abhinaya are expressions from the Yajur Veda. Rasa or aesthetic experience from Atharva Veda. I hope you understand. These aspects are the four main constituents of the Natya Veda. Dear student, first one literature was taken from Rig Veda, then here song taken from Samaveda, Abhinaya or expressions from the Yajur Veda, Rasa or aesthetic experience from the Atharva Veda. These aspects are four main taken in, you can see, Natya Veda. Right? Brahma taken here one is yogic trance. Brahma entered yoga positions, and he was taken concepts from the four Vedas, literature from Rig Veda, song from Samaveda, Abhinaya or expression from the Yajur Veda, and Rasa, that means Navarasas, taken from the Atharva Veda. Then he created Natya Veda. So that's why Natya Veda became fifth Veda. Am I correct? Yes. Now here, then if you observe, already explained about the significance of Nataraja. Where you can see here, you can observe completely here. Already explained about Nataraja. Where you can see one side Damarukam and other side eternal fire. And one hand which is showing Abhaya Mudra. One hand showing down. You can see here dwarf. a small dwarf daimon. I hope you can understand. I think already I explained all these points. Nataraja. Students, these Nataraja sculpture you can see in Chidambaram area. Right? Actually, this is the bronze sculpture. Bronze sculpture made by Cholas. Chola. Okay, right? Then I will discuss later Chola architecture and all this one. So now here first one classical dance here, Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam. Bha, Ra, Tha. Ba means Bhava, Ra means Raga, Ta means Tala. Bharatanatyam, Bhava, Raga, Tala. Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam is an ancient dance form in India. Right? It is a form, it is a complete dance where you can see it comprises Nritta, Nritya, Natya. Three components, students. My dear friends, here three things here you can see: Nritta, Nritya, Natya. So before going to discuss about Bharatanatyam, at least we need to know about these three elements: Nritta, Nritya, Natya, which is very, very important for UPSC prelims and mains exam. Already UPSC asked these questions. Then in any dance you can see these three elements. These three elements in any dance, not only Bharatanatyam, in any dance, Kuchipudi, all the dances. What do you see? Manipur, all these dances. Nritta, Nritya, Natya. So what is the difference between Nritta, Nritya, Natya? So first one is Nritta. Nritta is the rhythmic movement of the body. Nritta is the rhythmic movement of the body, that is called dance. It does not express any emotion. No emotion, without emotion. It's just like a dance. It's just like a movement of the body. Then here most of us know about Nritta, but we feel it is a Natyam. Then without expressions, without Abhinaya, we are moving our body. It's a rhythmic. That is called Nritta. Nritta means just a movement of body without expressions and without story. Without expression and without story, that is called Nritta. Nritta is just a movement of the body. But Nritya is a movement of the body plus Abhinaya, expressions. Where you can see the Abhinaya expressions, Rasa, sentiments, Hasya Rasam, right? Hasya Rasam, Raudram, Adbhutam, and all this one. Then Bhava, mood also. Yes, right? Some of the expression you can express through your eyes or your hands or facial movements. Some of the expression you can show in costumes also and makeup also. You can show through makeup, through costumes. But anyway, here listen student, Nritya means, Nritya, what is Nritya? Nritya means here and a movement of the body plus expressions, mood, that is called Bhava, plus Rasa, sentiments. Then last one is called Natyam. Third one is called Natyam. Natyam is here complete dance form. That means here body movement plus Abhinaya, that means expression, Rasa, Bhava plus story, Kada. Plus telling the story. So Nritta, there is no storytelling, there is no expression, but there is a movement of the body. Nritya, there is a movement of the body, and at the same time there is expressions, Abhinayas, Bhava, mood, but without storytelling. There is no story. But in Natya, you can see, in Natya, what you can see here in Natya, you can see in movement of the body, dance performing, plus Abhinaya expression, that means mood and Rasa, plus story also. That's why you can see Bharatanatyam, we never call Bharatanaritya, Bharatanaritya, then what we call Bharatanatyam. That means, Natyam means, what is the Natyam? The dance is the dance plus expressions, Rasa, Bhava plus story. Bharatanatyam. Bhava, Raga, Thala. That is Bhava, Raga, Thala. Is it clear? Yes. Next, we will go next one here. So here you can see abhinaya, expressions. Abhinaya means expressions. Where you can see here, he is showing expression through eyes and through hand. Where you can see through hand, eyes and hand, body movement. Costumes also you can see. Then I will explain. What is abhi? Abhi means towards. Abhi means towards. To lead. Ni means to lead. So abhinaya, it combines or it contains four aspects. Abhinaya contains four aspects. First one, there are four types of abhinayas. First one is angikabhinayam. Angikabhinayam, vachikabhinayam, aharyabhinayam, satvikabhinayam. Four. Abhinayam, that means expressions. Expressions through body, expression through face, expression through eyes, expression through costumes, expression through makeup also. First one is angikabhinayam, expression through body. Sharira, the body means sharira, face, mukha and movement. That is called angikabhinayam, means expression through body. Next one is vachikabhinayam. Vachika means word, speaking. Through words, literature and drama, that is called vachikabhinayam. Through words you can express your feelings, you can express. Aharyam, that means through decorations, through makeup, through jewelry, through costumes. That is here decorations of makeup and jewelry and costumes, that is called aharyabhinayam. Last one is satvikam, my dear students. Satvikam, acting out and manifesting different state of the mind and feelings. Satvikam, you can act based on your mind and feelings. That is satvika abhinayam. So abhinayam here you can see four. First one is angikam, second one is vachikam, third one is aharyam, fourth one is satvikam. Four abhinayas. These are also very, very important. Next one is postures or bhanga. There are four types of body depicted in Shilpa Shastra. Bhanga, bhangas, or in Telugu what we call, generally there is a Sanskrit word bhangima. In Natya Shastra you can see four depicts, four bhangas mentioned in Natya Shastra. First one is amanga, first one is abhanga, second one is samabhanga, third one is atibhanga, fourth one is tribhanga. What is fourth one is? Tribhanga. Fourth one is tribhanga. So then first one is abhanga, a slightly askew standing position. Abhanga means a slightly askew standing position. That means here this is your body. Your body should bend something slightly one side, slightly a standing askew standing position. That is called abhanga. Samabhanga, your body should be equal distribution of limbs, body limbs. Equal distribution of body limbs on a central line, whether standing or sitting. Samabhanga, equal. Atibhanga, you should bend one great bend with torso. That means here torso in the sense your body without head, legs, and this is called torso. A great bend with torso diagonally, one side great bend, incline and knees bent. That is atibhanga. And tribhanga, already I mentioned here tribhanga. That means here your body bend in three angles, head one side and here hip one side and knees one side. That is tribhanga posture. It's very, very important and it's a difficult one. Tribhanga posture is very, very good and difficult one. So you can see here this image, if you observe here, three bhangas. First one is here abhanga. Abhanga is a slightly, you can see slightly inclined one side. So one side abhanga if you observe. Then here samabhanga, where you can see, and here equal distribution, that is called samabhanga. Atibhanga, this is samabhanga, this is also called here samabhanga. Next one is atibhanga. Atibhanga is completely here, is one side, a great bend of torso. Then tribhanga, you can see students here, tribhanga, how it is difficult. Right, knees one side, hip one side, head one side. So then here Navarasas. You know students, next one here Navarasas. Then my dear friends, here Navarasa, evoking the 9 emotional attitude. Then everyone knows Sringara Rasa, erotic love. Sringara Rasa, erotic love. Hasya, humor and laughter. Karuna, compassion. Raudram, anger. Veera, heroism. Bhaya, fearful terror. Bibasa, disgust. And Adbhuta, awe. Ev and Shanta, peacefulness. There are 9 rasas. These 9 rasas are emotions, very, very important. And dance forms is a emotional intelligence. It's emotion. These navarasas, right? So next one here you can see here navarasas. And picture you can see, if you observe here, these navarasas. Right? Sringara rasam, hasya rasam, like adbhutam, raudram, peacefulness, adbhutam, right? And bibasam. Am I correct? Raudram and all this one you can see here. Okay. So next one is Natya Karanas. Natya Karanas, here you can see there are 108 Natya Karanas. Natya Karanas is very difficult one. And without practice you can't perform Natya Karanas. 108 Natya Karanas mentioned in Natya Shastra. 108. You know, this most of the Natya Karanas you can see on temples walls and temple what we call architecture. Mostly Chidambaram, Kumbakonam, Tanjavur and Tiruvannamalai, and mostly in South Indian temples where you can observe all these Natya Karanas, sculptures, which is very difficult one. 108 Natya Karanas and different Angas. Then you are able to understand this one. And here this, and you know one thing here, there is extensive research on Natya Karanas by Padma Bhushan, Dr. Padma Subramaniam, and one more here in Pondicherry by Ammaji, Kalaimani and Meenakshi Devi, Bhavani through Yoganjali, Natyalayam, and all this one they done so many things, and they done research on Natya Karanas. But here these Natya Karanas mostly you can see in classical dances, Bharatanatyam, where Kuchipudi and Odissi, they perform, but it's a difficult one, difficult to perform, Natya Karanas. 108 Natya Karanas. And particularly here, it requires some training. It requires some training in classical dances. But it performed in early age, it is possible to, observe the Natya Karanas. But you cannot perform later ages like a year after 30s and 40s. You cannot perform these Natya Karanas, which is very difficult one. Then I will show here. Then these Natya Karanas, see here, Natya Karanas, how it is difficult. Am I correct? Is it difficult or not? Is it difficult or not? It's difficult, right? See here, if you observe here Natya Karanas, then here like here 108 Natya Karanas you can see. 108. Right? So anyway, don't try. Okay, don't try in your house and all this one. So next one, Bharatanatyam. Then here we are discussing about the Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam origins. This dance actually in Tamil Nadu. Origin in Tamil Nadu is an ancient dance form in India. Bharatanatyam. Actually, it can be traced to Sadir. Sadir, Sadir, the solo dance performance of the temple dancers. Devadasis in Tamil Nadu. Devadasis, Deva, Dasi, Deva plus Dasi. Dasi means slaves, Deva means God, slave for God or God slave. So, Devadasis who perform dances in temple premises in Tamil Nadu area. First of all, Bharatanatyam performed by Devadasis in temples. So, it is also called Dasiyatam. Bharatanatyam also called Dasiyatam. Bharatanatyam also called Dasiyatam. It is a solo dance performance of the temple dancers. Some kind of Sadir, that is called Sadir. Sadir. It is also called Sadiratam. Dasiyatam, Sadiratam. There is a one more name for Bharatanatyam because it is famous in Tanjavur area. It performed in Tanjavur temple. So it is also called Tanjavur Attam, Sadiratam, Dasi Attam, Tanjavur Attam. Here Attam means dance. What is Attam? Attam means dance. So here listen here. It is origin of the Bharatanatyam. Tamil Nadu. It's performed a solo dance performance. Those solo dance performances are called Sadirs. Sadi. So that's why it's also called Sadir Attam. Then it's performed in Devadasis in temple. So it is also called Dasi Attam. It's performed in Tanjavur, particularly Tanjavur temple, where you can see Brodeshwar Alayam, a famous big temple which was built by Cholas. A beautiful Dravidian style of architecture. Then in the temples, then here Devadasis performed dance. So it is also called Dasi Attam. Some of the important persons and who performed the dance is modern times. E. Krishna Iyer and Rukmini Devi Arundel and E. Krishna Iyer, who was dedicated their lives to Bharatanatyam dance in modern days. So you should remember these two names, Krishna Iyer and Rukmini Devi Arundel. You need to remember two things here. One is here Bharatanatyam origin place Tamil Nadu. Bharatanatyam also called Sadiratam. Bharatanatyam also called Dasiatam. There is one more name that is called Tanjavur Attam. Right? So then some of the futures of Bharatanatyam. What are the futures of Bharatanatyam? First one is Alarippu. Then you know here Bharatanatyam started with Alarippu and ended with Tilana. UPSC asked question twice on these points. Bharatanatyam started with Alarippu and ended with Tilana. What is Alarippu? Alarippu means to seek the blessings of God. Starting here, when dancer enter on dais, first is he or she seek blessings of God by performing some small hand gestures or basic rhythmic dance. That is called Alarippu. Second one is Jatishwaram. It is the pure form of dance, including the different poses and movements. Jatishwaram is here a pure form of dance, a different poses and movements. Next one is Shabdam. It is the dramatic element which includes the Abhinaya in this song. Abhinaya means expressions. Where you can see some expression, Shabdam, sound. It is a general in praise of the glory of the God. Here in Shabdam, here praise. It is the praise of the glory of God. First one Alarippu, seeking the blessings of the God. Second one is Jatishwaram, where she or he perform pure dance. And Shabdam, where he shows some face expressions, Abhinaya in this song. It is mostly generally praise of the glory of God. Shabdam. Alarippu, Jatishwaram, Shabdam. So now here, then Varnam. This is a combination of dance and emotion synchronized with Tal and Raga. Varnam is nothing but here combination of dance and emotions. Combination of dance and emotion and rhythmic is synchronized with Tal and Raga. That is called Varnam. Next one is one more important point, Padam. It refers to mastery over the Abhinaya expressed by the artist. Padam means, so in any dancer, he or she want to prove something unique in dance. They want to show something mastery in dance. And I ask, at the time here they showed some unique talent. That unique talent performed in Padam. That is called Padam. It is the mastery over the Abhinaya expressed by the artist. Next one is Javali. These are short love lyrics performed at faster tempo. Javalis are short love lyrics performed at faster tempo. Love lyrics. Actually, this Javali is before Tilana. Javali is before Tilana, after Padam. A short love lyrics. Then last one is Tilana. What I mentioned? Tilana, concluding stage of Bharatanatyam dance performance. It performed, at a beautiful, a pure dance with exuberant movement and intricate rhythmic variations. and a faster tempo, a great movements with songs and rhythmic variations. At the ending stage of the dance, you know about the dance performance. At the ending stage, they showed a faster dance, a beautiful rhythmic variation, a beautiful expressions, a different variation dances. That is Tillana. Listen here. Bharatanatyam started with Jatiswaram, ended with Tillana. Jatiswaram is seeking the blessings of the god. Tillana is here a concluding stage with a beautiful rhythmic variations, dance forms and movements. You know one thing here. Javali, what is Javali? Javali is a short level lyrics performed at faster tempo. Performed by the artist. So next one is here. Bharatanatyam is often referred to as the fire dance. Then Bharatanatyam often referred to as the fire dance. It symbolizes Bharatanatyam is symbol as a fire dance because as it is the manifest of the fire in the human body. It's like a fire in the human body. So that's why it symbolized fire dance. It symbolized fire dance. Very important. Remember, Bharatanatyam is often referred to as the fire dance. Right? So students, I think viewers, then Bharatanatyam is completed, and next 7 classical dances I will explain next class, next video, continuation next video.